quick introduction to Todd for everybody who's joined. In case you aren't aware of Todd's work, Todd is someone who has worked on Dungeons and Dragons for a very long time. I believe you started working on D&D Beyond at about 2014?
Ooh, that may be true. I was there before D&D Beyond launched, so I should know this off the top of my head.
It's okay. I definitely didn't stalk your LinkedIn.
Yeah, that feels about right, and that feels so long. Yeah, it was founded in 2017, so that was August, because the anniversary of D&D Beyond was just like last month. So yeah, I started a little bit before that, so it was a bit wild. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So Todd started working on D&D in that sense over 10 years ago now, and then you went on to become sort of the face of D&D social videos. You went on to do marketing and video strategy for them. Is that right?
Yeah, totally unintentionally. So it was a bit weird. So how everything really started was I used to be at NBC News. I was the editor-in-chief for all video game coverage for the network, and but the one thing that was too nerdy was D&D. I couldn't cover D&D. No matter how hard I tried. So there were layoffs at NBC, and G4 closed at that time, the first time they closed down, and I started up my own YouTube channel just covering D&D, and I met all the game developers and the people who work on D&D, and got along with them so well. I just created a whole channel about Dungeons and Dragons, and I did that for fun. And then I saw D&D Beyond was happening, and there was another layoff at Amazon, and I actually reached out to D&D Beyond. I'm like, hey, I could be in charge of all your video content and social media and moderating and all that stuff, and that's how that started. So I was like without a job for about 15 minutes. But so I went over there, and I started hosting videos and stuff like that, and none of this was really with intent of any kind. I just loved interviewing the game developers so much, and everyone in the D&D community was so incredibly kind. It was hard not to do. It was not. No one's doing this because they think they're going to get rich. So just it was just such a lovely thing to do and get to talk about. Because I've been playing role-playing games since I was 8 years old. So that's how it started. And then to your question, which is, this is very rambling because it's very early for me. Yeah, I was at D&D Beyond for like 3 or 4 years. I decided to leave, start up my YouTube channel for the second time. And then Wizards of the Coast reached out, and then I started contracting with them for several years. And then I got hired a year ago to be head of the video strategy, which I've already been doing this entire time. So, yeah.
Amazing. So that is a quick little intro to everybody in the audience. I want to remind everyone, this is a Q&A, so it's not just me that will be asking questions. If you want to pop anything in the chat that you want to ask Todd, I will bring it to the table, but I will start us off with a question. I'll start you off with a nice icebreaker question, just to ease us in. I'm going to go, what are your go-to classes, species, and backgrounds in D&D?
Oh, God. It's interesting. I'm famously, I'm very well known for warlocks. And I do love warlocks. I love how modular they are. And they can be difficult for like new players. But I'm drawn to the creepiness of them. If not warlock sorcerers, I love wild magic sorcery. I recently got to play 24 hours of playing a wild magic sorcerer.
Wow.
Which was absolutely wild. Yeah, I was at D&D in the castle invited me to like cover D&D in the castle, and I went to play for 24 hours, and it was nuts because the wild magic sorcerer is so greatly improved compared to how it was, and I had it in 2nd edition when I was a little kid, and I just like the idea of chaos magic, so I tend towards anything creepy. For species, I love Warforged or anything that's just kind of robotic. I always make it weird, like I'm a clone or I was an illusion that became real or something like that. So I'm not too picky. Like it will often be human. I do love goblins quite a lot because I like hot dogs, I guess, and I associate goblins with liking hot
I need
eating
to know
terrible
why.
food. Yeah. So I think I answered 2 of those questions.
There was also backgrounds, but I got really distracted by the goblin hot dog thing.
Yeah, I played a goblin, and his obsession. Well, so my main character Avern, who is technically human, it's a horrible character who makes hot dogs out of everything he kills, and he's human, ish. But I actually just had art made by Max Dunbar, who actually has a book coming out of illustrations of his, and we were talking about making a new character art for him, and he's like half vampire, half Frankenstein, half clone, half this, because he's got this weird obsession with kind of mad scientist shenanigans. So I don't think Avern has a species. I think he's a mess. So very long-winded question.
Species mess. I can get down with that. So let's talk a little bit about your YouTube channel, because I think that's your main where you're funneling all your creative energy into right now, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So I just I think I had a 2-day break after the layoff, and then I started up again. So I'm just doing the same thing I've always been doing. I'm interviewing my friends and game designers from D&D and Daggerheart and whoever I can grab for an interview at conventions, and get those things published. I'm doing all the editing myself. Though I had one video that came out, an editor friend of mine actually cut for me because it was impossible for me to cut it myself in time because I was flying somewhere. So, but it's been really great. Everyone reached out after the layoff, and it was nice that there was very little interruption of service. So, and I just love interviewing people. So that's what you can find on my YouTube channel. I'm gonna start doing like class builds and stuff like that. I used to have a show called Todd Talks and Character Builder, and I have some goofy builds like how to push someone 65 feet in one round kind of stuff. I get a little bit weird about mechanics because I build characters every day. So yeah.
Every day you're building characters.
Yeah, it helps me relax. I'm a nightmare to. And Max Dunbar can tell everyone this as well, the artist or anyone who's ever done character art for me. I change my mind minute to minute because I'm a dungeon master, and dungeon masters can make very poor players. Because we're used to playing 800 characters. I try to keep it to one character that I've played since I was a little kid, but that character consequently has become like just weird in the Deadpool sense of he started as this goody-goody ranger, and then has become kind of unhinged because he remembers every edition of D&D. So he's very aware of like fourth wall breaking and what's been going on in the universe. So he's become quite evil and kind of twisted and warlocky now. So
he looked right through the weave, past the weave, into the meta.
And it him, yeah. He's all too aware.
So we've had our first question from the chat, from Rylick, who has asked, who is your favorite Baldur's Gate character?
Ooh, I can tell you, and no, I can tell you it's not. No offense to Tim Downey. I have issues with Gale. All the wizards in Baldur's Gate 3 talk for way too freaking long, and that's by intent, and I get that. But I have a couple of issues with Gale in particular. Is one, Gale flirts with you so quick and without any provocation, and then talks about his ex-girlfriend the whole time. This is like the worst guy at the club. That's who Gale is, because Gale doesn't really care about you, clearly, because Gale just chats you up no matter what, and then we'll just persist to talk about his ex-girlfriend for so long. So it's not Gale.
It's not Gale.
It's all a little bit warped now because I'm friends with several members of the cast, and the fact that we did 3 Baldur's Gate live games together. I was the producer and executive producer, and even did writing on those. So, like, I know Neil Newbon, so Asterion is very near and dear to my heart, and Karlak with Sam Bayhart, Theo with Will. It's pretty remarkable. Lizelle, I know I didn't like Lizelle for the longest time, but I know Devra So it's hard not to. And in those games, she increasingly becomes just kind of a chaos gremlin in the live games. So you see Lizelle kind of devolve in her live games over time into this more of a goblin than a proper Githyanki. So I don't have one. They're all my babies at this point, so it makes it hard.
Except Gale.
Except for Gale. I'm sorry, Tim. Tim's lovely, by the way. I have met Tim Downey, and the first thing out of my mouth was how much I didn't like Gale, which is not good form. And we're in Soho and at dinner. It was not nice of me. He's such a lovely human. I hope he explodes. Wow. I'm sorry. I'm reading off chat. That's not me saying it.
I'll make sure when we write this up, I won't say that was a direct quote from you.
Fantastic. Yeah, no, I'm going to get some messages.
Just in case it hurts Tim's feelings. So we have another question about going back to your D&D character that we chatted about earlier. If you could put them into a board game universe, what would that game be? A
board game universe? I need more specifics.
Yeah, that's a question from Silver Fear. So Silver Fear, if you want to give us some more detail on that, go for it. I'm trying to think what board game universes there are, like Gloomhaven, Catan.
Like Clue? I'll be the candlestick.
I love that that's the first place.
Connect 4. I'll be one of the checker pieces. Yeah, Monopoly. Evil, creepy, eldritch Monopoly would be fun. Cthulhu Monopoly. There has to be Cthulhu Monopoly. Why would you not? It feels like they've done Monopoly everything.
They have done Monopoly everything. So I'm from the UK, obviously, and we even have a Monopoly version of Swindon, which is the worst place in England by a lot of people's standards. People from Swindon.
I didn't even know. Oh, there is Monopoly Cthulhu. I've heard of Swindon.
If you look up Swindon, the thing that comes up that's famous about it is a big roundabout.
Oh, God.
Anyway.
I watch a lot of British television, like an insane amount since I was a little kid. So, like, I grew up with the young ones, BBC Radio, Mind's Eye Radio shows, and then Midsummer Murders is something fairly obsessed with growing up. So I hear about Swindon all the time in random shows I watch. But I also talked funny in elementary school because of that. All my T's were D's and D's for T's. Everything was weird.
While Silver is giving us some more context on that question, we'll come back to that question, but I'll jump to the next question that came up from Gilva G. If you could go back to and give your younger self a piece of advice about starting out a career in Dungeons and Dragons, what would that bit of advice be?
Oh my God.
Good questions.
Learn the math. I'm quite bad at math, so I'm learning design right now. Learn InDesign. As far as the video stuff, I looked into this so much, but I felt like I did everything exact. I do feel like I've done a really good job with video. I know I have, actually. Uh-oh, there's a wild Megan Kenreck on the loose. Are you running? Are you going? You're going officially? We're live right now. I can't convince you to get more coffee? No, it's okay. No, it's okay. It's all of London watching.
Everyone in London, every single one.
I'm a terrible husband. There was a question.
Yes, advice you would give to your younger self about starting a career in Dungeons and Dragons.
I would design something every day, honestly, because it's something I've always wanted to do, and it's something I'm terrified of because I'm not good with maths. And it's important because I feel like I have a lot of ideas that like I feel are very sound. I'm good at identifying math for design that doesn't work. I just wish I had gotten better at the mathematics of like subclasses and stuff like that. And that's something I'm learning right now more and more. And I did dabble with it for like, a couple of years and stuff here and there. And I dabbled with it on a project called Runeterra, actually for D&D Beyond, which is converting, Riot Games' worlds, like Bilgewater and stuff like that. I had a great time. But I would just design every day. The video stuff I looked into, working on NBC News and all that stuff. So I feel like I did everything to my best ability up till now.
Amazing. So Silver has come back to us with a bit more context about putting your D&D character into a board game. So they've suggested things like, is there a specific game series or a specific game you would want to put your character in? So something like Arkham Horror or Pandemic or Twilight Imperium. If your D&D character was in a board game, what game would it be?
I don't play a absolute ton. Well, I mean, I've played Arkham and Pandemic. I know other role-playing games, Marvel Champions and Dice Throne. I can speak to like other tabletop games like Vampire the Masquerade, and I actually played in Shades of Nightfall, which is not a game that exists anymore. It's a competitor to Vampire the Masquerade. And I played in Ex-Angel, which was very much based off Christopher Walken from the Prophecy series. Prophecy 1, okay. Got Viggo Mortensen as the devil randomly in it. But it's Christopher Walken, so I'll watch anything with Christopher Walken. But I like the idea of angels that didn't like humans quite, very much. It was such a gothy thing in the 90s to do. If it was the 90s, I can't remember, but I quite liked. Vampire the Masquerade's quite fun. I like porting things into that. I think that's pretty easy, right? Like if you're playing a Dampier in D&D. Oh, I should have said Dampiers. I love Dampiers in D&D. Yeah, I love me some spider climbing, and also the Reborn. I love quite a bit in Dungeons and Dragons. That's all in Ben Richton's guide. So Cyberpunk is a great game. Really fun to play, like a kind of a hustler, charlatan character in that game is quite fun. So Cyberpunk, Vampire the Masquerade, those things I gravitate towards the most. So, long answer.
No, it's all good. We've got, like you said, we've got an hour. We've got plenty of time for any detail you want to share. I'm picturing
this is all madness, by the way. Like, it is so early, and I'm just pumping caffeine into a very small brain. So
thank you for your service, but I'm sure your brain is not small.
Well, it's like late afternoon for you, so you're like done for the day, and now you're doing an AMA.
That comes with its own challenges.
Yeah.
So going back to the questions. Is there somebody in the world of D&D or kind of adjacent things like Baldur's Gate, Critical Role? Is there someone you've always wanted to interview but never got the chance to?
This is always interesting. So, yeah, there's a lot of people I'd like to interview, but I've either played D&D with them or I've met them. So, Tom Morello, Vince Vaughn, interviewing Vince Vaughn about D&D would be pretty fun. Honestly, I have interviewed James Gunn a long time ago, while I was at NBC about Lollipop Chainsaw. But interviewing James Gunn about Dungeons and Dragons would be a lot of fun, I think. Penn Oswald as well is a giant D&D nerd. I went to see him in Seattle. It was pretty funny because someone had a Run D&D shirt, and it pretty much stopped the entire show. So there's a lot of people. I get pretty good access to anyone who has designed D&D. So that's not an issue. I think I want to bring more celebrities out there who've been playing D&D and keep rather quiet about it. I think that would be increasingly more fun to get them to flip out. Obviously Colbert. An interview about D&D there. So things like that. It's always going to be a surprise. And a lot of voice actors too. I just got to interview Ben Starr actually. And for some reason it just kept on not happening in terms of doing an interview or getting to play in a live play game. He's a Natural 6, which you are probably more aware of this than most. But we had the best time. We just did an interview last weekend. And we went off about Chromatic Orb for an overly extended amount of time because we have very strong feelings about Chromatic Orb. So I'm quite lucky in that way.
Is it about
someone who does not play D&D? Sam Lake. Sam Lake is a genius. He is behind things like Alan Wake and Control. I am obsessed with those games. He must have played D&D, or I'm just willing it into existence. But I'm pretty obsessed with those video games. So that's my answer.
The chat is demanding to know more about your feelings on Chromatic Orb.
Chromatic Orb is insane now. Is unhinged, and I will come out with a video specifically about Chromatic Orb, and there may be diagrams as well as maps. So Chromatic Orb before required that you on dice that you rolled get 2 8s for it to bounce to another location. That's no longer true. You just need 2 of the dice to match. So if you got 2 2s or 2 3s or 2 4s, the Chromatic Orb will bounce to another target if you want it to. That means if you upcast it, the odds of you not getting 2 numbers that are the same is almost like less than 1%. So it is like a controlled fireball, and the fact that you are just going to bounce from target to target to target to target to target. As long as you're not missing, you're going to do an insane amount of damage. Oh my god, there's coffee. I've literally made someone late to work just to bring me coffee live. I love you more. Thank you. We need Red Bull in this house.
Big diva energy.
Megan says hello to everyone in England and everywhere else.
Hello, Megan. Chat is waving.
So yeah, all of chat is waving. So it's Chromatic Orb is quite some nasty business. So if I did this quite a bit when I was playing a Wild Magic Sorcerer. If you're upcasting it and you're doing like 5d8 points of damage, you're almost always bouncing to another target, and it's extremely destructive. It's still not as powerful as Fireball. That's my long rant. There'll be a long video about this.
I was gonna say, is it a contender for most broken D&D spell?
No, it is not broken. Ben Starr and I disagree about this vehemently on camera. So I think he's thinking about nerfing it, and I disagree because Fireball is still extremely powerful, as is Lightning. So I don't think it's more powerful because you still have to make an attack roll every time, but it's on par. So
this discussion about having to get numbers that match has reminded me a lot about a different tabletop RPG that you cover quite a lot on your YouTube channel, Daggerheart.
Daggerheart's so fun.
It's so fun.
I wish I got to play it more.
Do you not get many chances to play it?
No, I need to hop on things like start playing and get into games. So I don't get a lot of time to play games in general because right now I'm making a lot of videos. Latia's in chat. That's our community person for D&D and a friend of mine for a long time. Longer than I can remember. I saw nothing. Never mind. Yeah, it is weird. Latia is one of those friends where you're like, how did we meet? Like we have forgotten? Have they always been there? Were we in primary school together? Like, I don't know. Yeah, so I don't know if so Daggerheart, you didn't ask a question about Daggerheart. I don't know.
No, I led into it and I was just going to let you
yell Daggerheart.
Yeah, I did. I just gave you pure enthusiasm and you worked with it, so I appreciate that.
Yeah. Daggerheart's lovely. It's really fun. I think it's very much designed for live play shows in mind. It's a lot looser mechanically. I love how many different types of ancestries there are in it, and kind of how modular every character is. It's very easy to build something like, if you like the video game Dishonored, it's very easy to make a character like that. So yeah, they did a great job. Spencer and Rowan, just absolutely fantastic designers.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to ask you why you think it's so important to spotlight this particular RPG on your YouTube channel.
It's interesting. It wasn't intentional. It was, so Daggerheart was coming out, and it was pretty funny because I had ordered it and it kept on getting delayed by Amazon because it kept on selling out, or Amazon didn't know how many people had actually bought it. And then I got 2 days after I got laid off, it showed up in the mail, like a month late, and it genuinely good. I'm not good at lying, so it was just lovely that it was super fun, easy to understand, intuitive. Love having cards anytime for teaching new players. And then at Gen Con, it was just kind of the thing that everyone was talking about. And a friend of mine, James Hake, who is a former writer of mine, he's like, what do you think the big story of Gen Con is? And most of the energy around Gen Con was really focused on Daggerheart. So there's information coming out, Demi playing about Daggerheart. There was, all these sponsorships and live play shows. So it's a moment in time, and we'll see how that moment keeps on going. But it was nice to see a fresh face there. And there are a lot of folks, a lot of games I would like to cover, and I have reached out. It's just so hard to. I'm one person, so it's very hard to like get video interviews about all these different games, like Draw Steel, and there's so much going on all the time. It's really hard to be everywhere at once. You can be very ambitious at like a convention when you're trying to interview people, but other people's schedules don't align, or you're running around and it's hot and sweaty and muggy. Gen Con can be really hot. But yeah, Daggerheart just became definitely like a singular focus. And also, frankly, like I know Matt, and I know a lot of the people who work on it. And I geeked out about Daggerheart like 3 years ago with Spencer and Rowan at a party. We weren't actually partying. We were just in a corner talking about Daggerheart. And Chris and Jeremy, my friends, work on it too. So that doesn't mean bias, but it means it's like any opportunity I have to hang out with Jeremy and Chris, I'll take. So. Mm-hmm.
It's a case of the stars aligning. You have genuine enthusiasm for it and the opportunity to talk about it with people you care about.
No, and it's important to have genuine enthusiasm. Otherwise, it's always a slog.
Mm-hmm. I was going to ask, what are the biggest challenges of your work on YouTube producing video?
Sorry.
You mentioned one.
Anxiety-riddled laugh. There's no money in YouTube. the ad revenues is really low. You just kind of feel as a creator, and people know this very acutely, like, D4, who Colby is just a genius and fantastic at character builds, and the Dungeon Dudes assessing different character classes, subclasses, and Jenny D. It's the fear of like having a video that doesn't do well. Like, you'll make a video that might be like just breaking news and it'll get like 82,000 views and you'll make X amount of dollars. And then you'll make a video that you really love, but doesn't resonate with the people who follow you at the moment. And then it'll get 5,000 views. You're so tied to your analytics, kind of almost an emotional and a survival way. You're just trying to pay the rent. So the hardest thing about YouTube is making those choices of what you do cover and what you don't cover, and what does resonate and what does. And things can fail for a ton of reasons. It may just be a weird day for that video to get published, or so I guess it's just kind of it's partially anxiety, and also you're just having to keep calm and just keep on making videos and hoping people like them. Mm-hmm. It's hard, and I'm shooting all my stuff myself. Sometimes I will get help, but from my wife. But then you have to edit the videos together and make sense of everything. So it's really hard. It's really, and putting yourself out there for like Patreon is terrifying. I have Patreon that helps support, flying around to LA or to these conventions, and the hotels are all gamified, by the way. So all these cons, like a very nasty hotel will suddenly be like $400 a night, right? If you're at a convention, suddenly it's you may not even break even in terms of how much money you make. So it's all scary stuff. Yeah, I don't think people realize how scary it is, especially even for the people who are, I would say famous for being creators, like Ginny D. Like, it's hard work. She's a genius. People have no idea. She's one of the smartest people I've ever met. So
it sounds like a very vulnerable thing, putting yourself out there, not just for the audience, but also the algorithm. It's very vulnerable, and I look at all these content creators all the time, people who cover like Hollywood actors, and they'll have virtually an identical interview with A-list celebrities, and they'll only get 20,000 views or less. And then Vanity Fair will do the same interview and get 500,000 views. And there's no difference between the two. Mm-hmm. It's just that the algorithm picked them up because of X amount of subscribers, and that's a really hard place for a creator to be at. And interviews are really tough because
you're kind of always chasing interviews. But putting yourself out there and you coming up with your own idea and making a video is also very tough. I made a video about wild magic sorcery and no one cared.
Oh no, that was such a big passion thing for you.
I know, but that's what happens is like you do have to be conscious of your time, right? You can't have you can't have too many bad days in terms of views.
This is your warning, audience. If you're not following Todd on YouTube, go and support small creators because it makes a difference. I'd like to go back to the chat because we've had a really interesting question from Impface. What do you think that the next big unsolved challenges in, well, they've said D&D or Daggerheart or tabletop RPGs in general that you would like to see people work on?
It's something. So my obsession is. So something I'm deeply passionate about was I missed growing up. There was a thing called Dragon Magazine, and there have been several attempts at this kind of thing. But being able to get something monthly that had new subclasses, monsters, new fun rules that are experimental, no one's cracked that. I think too often people think of them as like microtransactions behind a subscriber paywall, and I disagree because that's what a magazine is. Magazines are still popular in the UK. They don't exist in America. I mean, if they do, I haven't seen them in a long time. But I miss not having to wait 3 or 4 months or 6 months or a year for content, and the digital side of that it has not been figured out. You know, so I've spent a lot of time thinking about how to create digital products that eventually lead to physical products and making everyone happy in that space. Because, you know, sometimes you just want a weird subclass that is of the moment, right? It doesn't have to be like in, you know, like Xanathar's Guide to Everything or an official book yet, or it can just be test material and see how it does. But that's the type of stuff I obsess about because I love making characters and I love having options, but waiting for so long in between for those points of inspiration, I think is something that is a particular obsession of mine that I write up a lot of documents about for my own personal benefit. I don't know. It's a weird obsession. I miss Dragon Magazine so much.
I see what you mean, because I suppose now we have a real focus on finished packages of 200, 250 page D&D books, and you only get maybe 4 a year. Maybe 5
which is wild considering the technology in the world we live in, right? Like that seems counterintuitive because we could have things come out faster, just smaller. And not without any less intent, just not everything has to be a 300-page book. So, yeah.
They used to have a thing on D&D Beyond. What you worked there at one point, you probably know this, but there used to be a piecemeal option, didn't there, where you could pick up one subclass or a handful of spells.
Yeah, that was always, it's called a la carte. It's kind of, that was always a deeply flawed system, I think, though. I get what you're saying in terms of that. I think taking that out of published books is super difficult. I think digital drops makes more sense. So like if you got like a variety of subclasses, like 5 or something that have a particular theme that maybe you wouldn't get otherwise, right? Like again, another good example is like I led a project that was specifically about Runeterra in Bilgewater from League of Legends, and had 3 subclasses and a little bit of adventure material and monsters in there, and that was so fun. And that wouldn't necessarily require a full book, and nor did we make it that way. We made this little tiny packet that appealed to dungeon masters and players, and it fulfilled that fantasy in short form. And I think I would like to see more stuff like that.
I'll ask a question that's very linked to this, but you might want to take it in a different direction. I want to say, design-wise, where do you see D&D going in the next 10 years?
Oh, wow.
Big questions.
Where do I see it? I don't know. You know, it can go a lot of different directions. I always want to see it maintain its identity. I do, increasingly want it to be easier for other people to learn. I think I want more and more tools that, it's not that the math has to change necessarily. It's just maybe the tools become better and better for new players to the point where you're almost, clicking a quick bar like on a video game. Any way that we can make it simpler for new players makes me happy, right? Mm-hmm. So that even I could even see eventually, a magic class that is removed from spell slots entirely. There have been attempts at that, obviously using point-based systems, but those have never been one-to-one with the current spells that exist. Psionics were always busted in 2nd edition and 3rd edition and 4th edition. So I think simpler, streamlined design and wish fulfillment is always going to be key, and everything with a player-focused intent. That I think that's really important. We lose. The weird thing about being a player is, I think we spend more time. Well, I know we do. We spend way more time daydreaming about our characters than we ever get to play them, and I think we forget how important that is to playing D&D. It's not necessarily sitting around the table. It's us making up characters and thinking about stories on our own. And there's a very single player element to being a D&D player. So just keeping that stuff in mind. I love things that provoke daydreaming. I miss the books like Van Richten's Guide to Vampires and Van Richten's Guide to Liches and the complete book of elves. That stuff, really targeted content makes me really happy, because I will nerd out about that topic.
Get more niche D&D.
I like niche.
It's not what Todd's clamoring for.
I don't think elves is complete book of elves isn't that niche, right? So many people play elves.
They did just do a book of giants last year, to be fair.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, so.
Jason in the chat, if I pronounce that wrong, I'm very sorry, has asked if you would consider doing live interviews like this on your YouTube channel, because they think it'd be cool.
I did do, I do need to go back to, everyone keeps on saying do live interviews weekly. I need to just do it. Yeah, I need to get back to doing it. It'd probably be on Wednesdays for about an hour. I actually got criticism for an interview where my mic actually was damaged. It had an issue with my mic. This is the scary thing about being by yourself is my microphone ended up not working, so I only cut the person I was talking to, and they were like, this would have been better if there was back and forth. And I'm like, yeah, my audio is shit. But yeah, I think I need to get back doing a live show that's like 60 minutes for sure. That's valid. That's what I used to do all the time.
Amazing. T&G had a question about do you think Hasbro has had much influence on D&D by being parent company of Wizards of the Coast? Any kind of mechanical impacts or impacts on lore, or even just things like product release schedules and tie-ins?
On that end, I don't know. I have a lot of information. I don't think so, actually. I think D&D just kind of does its own thing, and then those conversations in terms of like how much D&D is making, all that stuff. That's like way above my head, my pay grade, right? So, I think we are, the game design. We're the nerdy kids in an already nerdy place at Wizards of the Coast, right? There's Magic the Gathering and everything else, and there's D&D. So I don't know how much they focus on the kind of details of D&D. I don't think they do, but that's my assumption, by the way, because I only handled video content strategy and stuff like that, and I advised on the D&D business as well when I was a contractor. Just because I think about this stuff constantly and unendingly, but that stuff I never was aware of.
Yeah, so in your experience, didn't see a lot of kind of the ways that Hasbro interacts with its little Wizard.
No, like anyone who would know any of that stuff is like top tier leadership stuff, like the president of D&D, that kind of stuff. That's not something that would filter down to the likes of me.
Somebody who's got executive at the end of
Yeah.
that title. Amazing. So I would like to ask you a little bit more about, so when you worked at Wizards of the Coast, or with Wizards of the Coast, what was the biggest lesson you learned from that experience?
Oh my god.
I know it's early, I'm waking you up.
The biggest lesson. Wow. I don't know that I have one. There's there's certainly a freedom in being a contractor that exists, right? You know, when you're a contractor, you can't just do whatever you want. It's not like that at all. It's funny that nothing is the same. Like you can always strive to like have full-time employment, but there's no difference between that or contract work necessarily. You know, like your life can change at a moment's notice no matter what. I was really bad, and this might be to my benefit of you know, there are people who can shoot videos, you know, at Wizards of the Coast. I often did not take advantage of that. I was shooting all my own stuff, on my own cameras, and then for a long time doing my own editing as well. And then eventually, a friend of mine started doing the editing because that was madness. But I think relying on other people more would have helped. Instead of trying to do it all myself. It's pretty exhausting because it was unnecessary. I'm very particular about my cameras and what lenses I use, so I'm very weird. So I think let go a little bit probably would be a good answer. Yeah, because you only have so much time. So the one nice thing about doing this YouTube channel by myself is I'm not really doing anything that I wasn't doing before. I'm using the same cameras that we used on the D&D videos. And I'm talking to a lot of the same people, so nothing's really changed. I just started interviewing the Baldur's Gate 3 cast again, so stuff like that. It's hard when you are trying to survive on your own for so long to be like, oh, there's a whole team here. Yeah.
But as you said, the nerd community is a great one to lean on.
Yes, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So our lovely editor at Wargamer, Alex, has asked, apart from D&D and Daggerheart, what is your desert island tabletop RPG that you could not live without?
Oh my god, this assumes I have so much time for other RPGs. I don't, like I said, I barely have enough time to play things like Daggerheart and D&D. I have an extreme fondness for Vampire the Masquerade. Cyberpunk is lovely. I'm mostly, because of, you know, if I can't get a D&D game or Daggerheart game, you know, I will gravitate towards video games. Gamma World was amazing back in the day. It was so Yeah, Gamma World was truly lovely. So I don't have a desert island one where I couldn't live without. I like Magic the Gathering. I like playing Commander with my wife quite a bit, so that might be it, actually.
You take a command deck with you.
If I'm on a desert island, yeah, it would have to be with my wife Megan. So it would have to be a 2-player game of some kind. So so probably Magic Commander. It'd probably be a vampire-oriented deck, or a dragon deck of some kind.
You are just giving off complete spooky vibes. Love the spooky.
We're a spooky family. We already started decorating for Halloween on September 1st, so it's already happening.
Because it's the best time of the year.
It is the best time. We're spooky 24/7, but now our neighbors have to deal with it.
Now they have to know about it every day.
Every day. Yeah. We have an 8-foot skeleton. So.
Oh, I'm so jealous that you get those over there.
I know.
Just have it in the house.
You all don't have a lot of, I mean, depending where you live. I mean, obviously not everyone lives in London, but I was stunned by the lack of front area to anywhere anyone lives. Like if you're in the country, it's fantastic. But
for a small island, they just cram us in.
Yeah.
We've been asked what colors you like to play in Commander.
Ooh, red and black primarily, unless there's something really weird you can do. I like red and black. I think green and black can be fun because that gets the more creepy Feywild type of colors there. So, yeah.
Digging around in the graveyard.
Yeah. Exactly.
Do you have a favorite black MTG card?
Oh my god. I have a ton. I have a fondness for the original Zombie Lord. Because I made a zombie deck and it was really fun. I make decks that aren't that effective, but that was my first one of my first themed decks I made. My brother bought me a Zombie Lord, and I got 4 more Zombie Lords. This is against probably all kinds of rules now, but yeah. Oh yeah, rats, plague rats. The original plague rat actually, I was obsessed with. And it's interesting. It's really funny. So the video game Dishonored has rats where you can basically feed people to rats. I have a character. My character Avron. I was asked for Idle Champions this video game. What kind of skin I would want, and I was a swarm of cranium rats, which eventually kind of made it into the Planescape books, wearing a coat. However, I was faced with rats finally. In our backyard, there was a swarm of rats on a stump, and my genetic hatred of wild rats is alarming. So I'm not afraid of snakes. I had to get rid of a rattlesnake while doing a TV show once, directing it. It was at my feet. That didn't bother me, but a swarm of rats in real life freaks me on a genetic level. Like, it's like video games, movies, fine, but like I saw rats for real, and oh my god. Ugh.
I used to keep pet rats, so I will not stand for this rat slander. They are
wild rats are dangerous, folks. They got weird things. They got like bugs living in them and stuff. And that was something that I did talk to a professor about rats, and they're like, the rats who are wild and the rats that we have are like wolves and chihuahuas. They look very similar, but the difference is quite alarming. So he put it that way for me.
There's a lot of pro rat people in the chat. Todd, this is amazing because you just naturally bring up all my favorite topics without me needing to ask. So.
Or like rats? Yeah.
Yeah, like rats and Strahd. Those are my favorite things.
I love Strahd. And what an irredeemable character. Like, he's always awful. D&D villains are, they don't have that like warm, chewy center that we have in so many works of fiction. Like, Strahd's just a terrible human being.
He's just awful. He's just awful. Yeah, he is the insult of D&D. He's
really not okay.
Imface says I can fix him.
No, you can't. He killed his brother for a woman, and a woman who didn't like him. Please.
Get a hobby, Strahd. No spoilers, we've been told.
Super privileged 1%er. Like, there's just nothing there to like. Other than he looked cool in the 80s. It's pretty funny. But there's something I guess charming about just an awful character.
There's something special about that module, and the truly
you have to feel guilty
character.
about it. Yeah, he's just a monster.
He is just objectively a monster. Everyone's saying that somehow he's canonically married, though. He's got like several. I think in 5th edition he has like several brides.
Well, that's probably the Dracula of everything, right? Yeah, Dracula had 3 brides. I'll have to look into that, actually. I don't remember. I have the novels. And I have Chris Perkins' adventure on it, so.
Mm-hmm. I'm seeing if there are any other questions. Oh, I know what I wanted to ask you about. You mentioned very early in our chat today that you were thinking about putting some of your own like playtest content out on the channel.
Yeah, I am. So I'm actually I'm working on a lot of playtest material that is vampire oriented. I wanted to publish it sooner, but InDesign, me learning InDesign, I just need to get out there and stop being so finicky. Things like shield, I like using shields as weapons in D&D. That's a weird blind spot that we've always had. There's a little thing like quality of life improvements I've always wanted to see in like things like D&D or Daggerheart, different species. That I've also used around the table. Like one thing I like about Daggerheart is you can play in their playtest material in the Void. You can play a vampire, werewolf, all these things, and I like looking into how can we make that functional within D&D as well. Because really, it's funny. So my wife actually played a full werewolf, and it was a nightmare. It was not OP because she's a wizard. So like every time she turned into a werewolf, she was doing less damage. Considerably less. There's no upside to being a werewolf. There's no upside to being a vampire. I mean, like taking radiant damage from the sunlight is not good. So, if a player wants to play a vampire or wants to play a werewolf, I don't like particularly love the rules where they say the dungeon master takes your character away. I'm like, I think there's probably a more narrative focused way to tackle that problem, because I think that's. For the characters that like fighting vampires, part of the creepy part is becoming one.
I'm going to ask you a question now that feels really corporate, but in terms of your channel, what about your channel makes it stand out from other D&D YouTube channels?
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, because there are a lot of channels that tackle only breaking news. I come from a breaking news environment because I was at NBC News. So I think the interviews, I don't think a lot of channels actually tackle interviews in the tabletop space. I love talking to people and learning about them. It's borderline obsession, and I'm a deep introvert, so this is like kind of like a mandatory way of me being social, like what we're doing right now. This is the most I'm going to talk today to a person who is not my wife, probably for a week or two, because I'm a quiet person. In my privacy of everything, but then I have moments like this where I'm extrovert, and then I'm going to pass out after this, because that's rather difficult. So I think, and also I'm kind of a befuddling interviewer, I guess. I didn't used to like David Letterman, who's an old host, but I like him more now that he's older, and he's a goofball, and he doesn't try to do a very good job at interviewing. There's something charming about that. But I always someone was asking me about why I like to do this, and it's asking questions that maybe I wish someone would ask me, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I think you get to know and connect with people and try to find out what they're passionate about. This is why I started interviewing game developers before. And so I don't think a lot of people do that right now on YouTube, but also they don't necessarily get the access, and that's not what they're known for, because it's really hard to switch your audience. From one thing to the other for any of these content creators, and the content creators who are doing well right now are doing well because they're really good at what they do. The dungeon dudes are very good at breaking down subclasses and classes, and Jenny D is just great at everything that Jenny D does. She comes up with very entertaining thought experiments about the tabletop space or ideas, and presents it in a really great way. And D4 Deep Dive, Colby, who's the sweetest human being ever, who actually reached out to me only a few days after the layoff and got me to do a video. He's a genius as well with math and trying to figure out stuff. So I don't, long-winded answer. I know we're running out of time, and I'm just not. I keep talking. That's the second coffee.
As Alex said, we're at the 5-minute countdown to the end of this. If you have any burning questions,
go to my Patreon, help support future videos. That's literally how I'm paying for things. I have to get on flights all the time. It sounds very beggy. So Patreon really does help these content creators get to do what they're doing, and that's 100% true for me. I couldn't have gone to Gen Con without the people who support me on Patreon. It would not have happened, because the hotels were so expensive. And then the flights were insane.
Hey, Todd, one question asks, and it says, "Do you know you're awesome?" The guess is who sent that?
No, it's imposter syndrome. Sorry, Latia. That's also, it keeps you from being. Are we allowed to cuss on this?
Alex,
it prevents you from being a jerk. The thing is if you're too confident, you just become a monster. So I find imposter syndrome keeps me in check. I'd rather have anxiety and feel like I'm an imposter than go the other way. I've met some of my heroes, and not all of them were lovely from many years ago. So
that's a good question of how do you deal with imposter syndrome?
I don't. No, I don't. I see interviews all the time where I'm like, God, shut up. I'll be completely honest. I did an interview with Matt Mercer, and I was so excited to see him. It had been a really long time. It had been 3 years, and I just couldn't stop talking in this interview. And I cut 99% of me out. And I was just like, why am I jibber jabbering so much? Because it was more of a conversation between friends, but it was just like, blah, 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 blah. It was just verbal diarrhea from my point. So, yeah.
Do you have a special way that makes people feel at home when you're interviewing them?
Just ask them about themselves or what they love and read. I'm very big into micro expressions and pretty obsessed with them. I'm good at reading people. Ask them about their life. When I used to do video game interviews, I asked them why they got into video gaming in the first place. I asked them questions that get them to relax, and then we start the real interview. So you just try to relate to people as human beings, and don't forget that they're human beings, and don't necessarily go through a checklist of, I'm going to ask you about how much damage this ability does in X amount of time. Like, these people are really passionate about what they do. I kind of want to crack YouTube creators a little bit more because they have insights into things, and I want to figure out why they like to do what they do as well. I think just humanize people. So not necessarily get them to relax, just get them to be human, because there's all this public relations training that happens and marketing training that happens to people, like, or this desperate need to like survive and push Patreon or push, people towards your YouTube channel and to be on all the time and to break through all of that. It's really hard because, a lot of content creators are just kind of fighting for survival. So yeah, just humanize people where you can, because they are, except for me, I'm not human. Most of them are human.
You're actually several cranium rats in a coat.
It's very likely.
Alex
There's
says
no evidence to the contrary. So.
We can't prove that Todd Kenreck is not several cranium rats in a coat.
Zero evidence.
You've never seen Todd and several cranium rats in a room.
Not in the same place. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Take from that what you will. Alex has asked, we're about to start a D&D one-shot in 10 minutes. What character would you build?
Play a Dampier. No, you're in 10 minutes. I don't know what the theme is. Play a goblin that eats anything other than regular food. So you never eat steak or anything cooked. You're eating cockroaches or rats. But play a paladin. Also, hey, play a paladin that's super judgy and petty. I love petty paladins. It's so fun. Or my other favorite thing is a charlatan cleric, or not even a real cleric, but they like upsell you on raise the dead and revivify and heal. Like, they're a shady cleric. So just make a cleric who is basically the American medical system.
Oh my gosh, we got deep.
Healthcare system. Just make. I don't know. Do you have insurance? So shady clerics are hilarious. Snake oil salesman clerics and petty paladins because paladins just by nature think they know better than you and judge you for not having their oath. I think that's really fun as well. So yeah. Heroic orcs, by the way. I actually quite love orcs. And I very much agree with Brennan Lee Mulligan. It's something I was obsessed with reading Lord of the Rings. I'm like, are you telling me none of these guys were like, screw Sauron? There gotta be some like really awesome orcs out there who are deeply heroic and unkillable. Go against type.
I once played an orc whose parents pressured her into becoming an adventurer because it was a stable career, but really she wanted to be an accountant.
Oh my god, that's amazing. And I love that yes, in the world of D&D, it is a stable career, actually. An accountant is silly. That village could burn down tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, what a niche thing, being an accountant. Like, none of those people are thinking day to day, by the way. These are people killing monsters for money. Like, there's no 401k plan for those people. No, I think that's brilliant.
Canonically, the only person I can think of in D&D who has an accountant is Strahd.
Yeah, that's true.
That guy's got an accountant. He keeps him chained up.
That was my favorite version. I think one of my favorite versions of Avon all the time was Trickery Domain Cleric, because he would heal. No, I don't care about last minute. He would heal people by telling them you're not hurt. And so his cure wounds would be like, it doesn't hurt. You're not hurt. And then they would heal by the power of his lie.
He would just...
Or he's like, you're not dead. Yeah. Gaslighting as a power is disturbing
I
for a
love
cleric.
So yeah, we are
Alright,
at now.
so
In Britain, we're at 5:31. So
that's insane.
I think unless anyone else has any final questions, or Todd, is there anything you wish I'd asked you about?
Oh God, I do this to people all the time. No. What's funny is I keep on talking to you now. I'm slipping into how I used to talk when I was a little kid. Anytime I spend any time with people who are British, everything devolves into
Rick Mail just comes out.
Yeah, I don't have anything. Thank you so much for having me on the show. That was really sweet. And then it was lovely meeting Alex at Gen Con. That's very kind to have someone a bumbling idiot like myself onto a show. I'm not used to being interviewed.
The pleasure is all ours.
Well, that's very kind. But thank you for everyone who jumped into chat and everyone who's been so supportive of the channel and patient with me. I'm trying to get content out there as fast as I can. It's just also everyone who reached out. That was a lot. It's never great to be laid off. I'll be honest. But also, if you have imposter syndrome and you get that many nice comments in a week, which was alarming and lovely and kind. It's so intense because you don't realize. In my head, I'm by myself in a bubble, and I don't realize anytime I go to a convention, someone recognizes me. I think that is alien and strange to me because, to me, I'm just doing this by myself, and no one knows who I am. So it's
well, we're here to confirm that you are loved. What was your button you've got on your Discord person? You said you are wholesome or you are worthy.
What? Oh, the coin. Oh, that it's campaign coins reached out about making a coin based off my character Averin, and he was trickery domain. So one side says, Averin, the god of trickery, and on the other side says you have worth, which is funny because it's a coin, and his coins canonically are kind of soul coins. So there's like a double meaning there. A coin that says you have worth is like I just thought was hilarious and funny.
Well,
those
we will
pop
end
up once in a while.
We'll end this
conventions people.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, I got one right here.
Oh, fab.
Yeah, they're just hanging around the house all the time. I need to throw. Well, I'm not going to pollute, but I need to throw one into the river in London, to the Thames, just so an archaeologist finds a coin and doesn't know who the hell that person is.
Your life is a D&D game.
Yes. Sorry, I will stop talking so you can end the show and get dinner.
So I will end things here just so you can have a nice little rest because you have coffeed up for us and we are eternally grateful.
I'm very coffeed up.
So thank you so much for your time, Todd. It's been so lovely to chat to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you everyone else who turned up. I'm gonna do that like 70s talk show thing where I just wave everyone out while they all leave. Put the elevator music will come back on and be like, bye. After this, I have a Curse of Strahd game. Like quite literally 2 minutes after this.
Oh wow! Oh lovely. Well, you're queued up for it.
Oh yeah. You've got my spook on.
Yeah.
If you want to leave as well, Todd, feel free to leave. I'm just gonna be polite and be like, bye everybody.
Oh okay, yeah. I'll take off. Thank you everyone for being in chat. I really appreciate it.
Have a good rest of the day, everybody.